Okay, so first of all, can I just thank the Steve Sinnott Foundation for giving me this opportunity to develop the poet within all of us. Really appreciate the opportunity and welcome to everybody from all four corners of the world, because I do believe we've got people from all over. So welcome, and I do hope that today will be very useful and that you will all be leaving here and be budding poets, and we will see your work on BBC and all around the world. So just briefly, I'll just introduce myself. My name's Evadne Bygrave. I am an educator. I've been teaching for over 20 years in the primary and secondary school system in the UK and also abroad. I've led in various areas in drama, music, performing arts, and when I was an assistant head teacher, although I led maths, I made sure that it was creative. So, in anything that I do with regards to learning, I try to make it as creative as possible, as I believe that that's where the enjoyment comes from, especially when you're working with children. So where am I now? I'm currently the founder and CEO of Sing a Book, which is a community interest company. We deliver workshops to schools and educational organisations on how to engage children in learning using the power of music, drama and of songs. Our key focus is on literacy and engaging children in reading books and reading whole books. We have an after school club where we get children to read a whole book, and then they use drama, they use poetry, they use songs as inference to show their understanding of the book, where they then can deliver a performance to the rest of their school, their parents, or other people who are interested. But it's really about getting children really engaged in books in a really creative way and getting them to really understand what books and learning is about. Also, we have a production arm to Sing a Book where we produce theatre. We produce theatre that again is engaging, educating, and also that reflects the community in which we live in. Our focus is on the BAME community and children and people from disadvantaged backgrounds who are not engaged in the arts for one reason or another. So we make sure that our productions engage everybody by using topics that are educating but also brings communities together. So that's just me in a background. So we're here today to find the poet within us. So let's start. We're really fortunate to have a poet reader with us today who's going to read all our poems. So we have Anne Beattie, and you're going to read the first poem, please, by who?
Who can be a poet? Pooh began to feel a little more comfortable because when you are a bear of very little brain and you think of things, you find sometimes that a thing which seemed very thingish inside you is quite different when it gets out into the open and has other people looking at it.
And I think this is a classic example. I really love this quote because it sums up poetry to me. um, how you feel about something inside, and when you actually say it out loud, your audience may look at you and think, I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say, and they may see it as something completely different to what you wanted. But I believe the whole point of poetry is just that. When you have an audience and they read your work, it's their inference. What do they take from your poetry? What is it that they're taking from what you're trying to say? And some poetries are very obscure, and you think to yourself, what exactly is this individual trying to say? And only if you really understand someone's life, it may begin to pull things together. So, for example, our next poetry, Anne, if you could read this one for us, please.
When you come to me, unbidden, beckoning me to long ago rooms where memories lie, offering me as to a child an attic, gathering of days too few, baubles of stolen kisses, trinkets of borrowed loves, trunks of secret words, I cry. Maya Angelou.
Okay, and again, it might seem slightly obscure. If you understand Maya Angelou, if you know her background, if you know her biography and what she endured as a young child, this might be really obvious to you. But otherwise, you could read this poem and think, okay, it's about a lost child. But the fact is, it's poetry, and it is to whoever it is who's reading it, is subjective. And that's why poetry is really good to use in schools and used with children, is because it allows them to express themselves how they see something. And when they write it, again, it's about how they feel about something. So it's almost non judgmental. It's not good, it's not bad, it's really very individual. And that's the beauty of poetry. So, this is how I see poetry: making sense of nonsense, making nonsense of sense, a freedom to play with words and meaning. But at the end of the day, poetry is your truth and it's how you see things. So, there's no wrong or right. So what I wanted to look at today is how we can use our senses to create poetry. It's all about what you see. So what you see, you describe, which seems quite straightforward. But what about what do you hear? If you're looking at a painting, how do you hear what's in a painting? The way I see it is you step inside that painting, you turn the volume up. And if you walk into that painting, what would you hear? If you walked into an arts room where there is no sound, what would you hear if you was to turn the volume up? An artist sitting at his easel painting, although it's silent, what would you hear? You might hear the sounds of the brushes against the paper. You might hear the wind blowing in the background. And it's the same thing with the smell. If you was to turn up your senses and smell what's in that painting, what would that be? For example, if we're doing work with, or if I'm doing something with children, say about the Black Plague, and there's a painting or there's a picture of a mouse-ridden room with people dying in darkness, what would you smell if you walked into that room? Describe that smell. And again, the taste. If you are in a burning room, can you taste the ashes on your lips? What would you taste? And what would you feel? Anything from a pen to a pair of glasses, a book. When you touch that book, is it soft? Is it smooth? Is it rough? Is it hard? Is it sticky? All those vocabulary to describe what you feel. And then the emotion. How does that particular thing resonate with you? How do you feel when you look at that particular item? And this can be described in just single adjectives, or it can be described using synonyms. So, for example, it was as loud as a drum, or metaphors, he was a raging bull, or personification, the sun smiled at me. So, turning things, inanimate objects, into real things, but just creating words around what you see, what you feel, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, and how your heart is beating at the time. So I'm going to show a painting. All the paintings that you see today is done by Tricia Palmer, and this is called The Green Man. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to create some poetry around her work. So this is a painting of a green man based on the series of The Green Man, and this is one of the poems that I wrote. So Anne, please.
The Green Man. Mother Nature brought him here to roam the wood and incite fear to any beast or man who dare bring harm of death to her creatures fair. Your eyes are blind to him standing there, but feel his stale moss breath and piercing stare.
So again, you might not use all your senses, but it's always a great starting point to start with: what you see, you feel, you hear. If you were in the forest with the green man, how would you be feeling? What are the sounds that you might hear? What's the textures around you? Next one, Anne, please.
The devil's blues. Flaming hell cast your spell as I dance to your spellbound tune. I've been tranquilized by your lyrical lies, while your chords pluck at my bloodshot eyes.
Okay, so again, some people like, really, what's all that about? Other people might think, okay, it's very literal, but again, about beauty of poetry, it's personal to you. Okay, so I'm not sure how many people we have in the room, but this is a painting again by Patricia Palmer. And what I would like to do is to get everyone to create a group poem based on this painting. So again, going back to the five senses, thinking about what you physically see in this painting. What would you hear if you turned the volume up? Is there a scent that you might smell if you was to if your nostrils were to smell something in this painting? What would you feel? What is the texture around, if there is any texture? And how do you resonate with the poem? How does the poem, sorry, not the poem, your poem was going to resonate for me, obviously, but how does this picture, the face, anything that you see, how does it make you feel? And what I'd like you to do is, as a group, is to write one verse for this painting. Excellent. Great. I hope that you all had a great time meeting each other and sharing ideas and thoughts. And Anne and I are really looking forward to this group poem.
Talk to me. Am I seeing bright future? Ancestors, come out of my mind. Talk to me. My soul is nervous.
Staring out from the mirror, an image fair, men transfixed as always by her stare. Looking in her eyes, the men in the background are wondering what does she see?
A necklace of small cream pearls clings to her swan-like neck, feeling cool against her luminescent skin.
The air is fresh and clear, like the glass looking at me.
The scent of orange blossom wafts in through the open window, mingling with her perfume of jasmine and rose. The men smell of the earth and musky sweat earned through a day of toil.
Misty memories held by the scent of jasmine, pulled back to a happier time. Held.
Excellent. You did really, really well. That is really, really good. So now you've kind of worked together and you've kind of pulled ideas together. Again, going back to our five senses, I just wanted to add something else, because I think also there's a fairer feeling that you have to write lots, and poetry can literally just be words, a group of words. As you know, we have list poems, which are just a group of words that mean things or are linked to whatever it is you're writing about. So it's your turn now as individuals. I did ask for you to all to bring something that was personal to you, or something that meant something to you. Did everyone bring something with them? I'm going to give you a choice. So you can either choose something in your own surroundings. I also have another green woman here that is another painting by Patricia Palmer that you could use, or you could just, as we move out of the lockdown and we move into some kind of normality, we hope, you can think about what is it that you want to do once the doors of the prison cell has been opened and you are allowed to go out. What is it that you're looking forward to? What is it that you feel? What is it that you want to do as we come out of this really sad and dark period of our history? What is it that you want to do? So those are the choices you have. You can either get something from your home, you can use the green woman, or you can just write about what you're looking forward to in coming out of lockdown. And we want to feel good. So think about the great things that you're going to do as you come out of lockdown. But you might want to reflect also on lockdown and the past 12 months. It's entirely up to you. I'd like you to write one verse with a maximum of 5 sentences or 5 lines. So no more than 5 lines and 1 verse.
Another life has ended. Time then was suspended. Mind haze set in. Change was long overdue. Now a new life will begin.
Soft red leather binds you. Gold writing and figures emboss you. You smell of old dry paper and years of dust. Your cover feels so soft and smooth, your edges and corners bent over. In your pages hide great treasures. The head of Leonardo's Virgin, so delicate and refined, her smile serene and eyes ever patient. I long to see the paintings of Florence again. They fill my heart with joy.
Gatherings, joy, love and laughter, hugs and glory in the days of karma.
Warm continental sun on our faces. Excitement mounts amidst the fragrant exotic foliage. Happiness shared, love envelops us. Feelings of peace and contentment, family togetherness, all that we need is here.
Running my fingers around your cuts, there is so much to say. The years of freedom, the screech of pain. But here in my hand, I know the gift you've given.
Bright star, been too long, yet so near, too far. Long for a huggy, a kiss, a song, my little shiny Wawa.
Anger will be in the air, whatever they do. You're asking whether it's fair. I will stay hushed.
Short, but to the point and very powerful. Thank you so much. Any feedback? Anybody who feel that they've done much better than they had expected to do when they first, apart from you, Mary, who didn't know you were going to do this, so she wouldn't have. But anybody just want to express anything that's, you know, that they've learned or picked up or will hopefully move forward in with the rest of their life and using some of the things that they found, and we all can. So I'd like to thank the Steve Sinnott Foundation once again for this amazing opportunity. I'd like to thank everyone who took their time out this Friday afternoon to come and share this session, and I really do hope to see you all again at some point. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Evadne. It's been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.